The story begins with our main protagonist, called Misuni Makoto, who was transported to another world to become a hero by the god called Tsukimichi. The other world's goddess themes Makoto to ugly and banishes him to a wasteland world infested with non-humans and monsters, only giving him the ability to understand the languages. Tsukimichi intervenes and explains to him that in Japan, Makoto has abilities were restricted by modern life, but in the new world, he is quite powerful and free to do whatever he pleases. After wandering the wasteland for 3 days, Makoto saves a young work called Emma from a two-headed wolf monster, which he defeats, discovering how strong he now is. Emma explains she was supposed to be a sacrifice to the god called Shem, to dispel the fog around her village so crops can grow. She takes him to her village, where Makoto begins to learn magic. Soon after, Makoto decides to destroy Shen, a giant dragon who uses the fog to create illusions. Shen traps Makoto inside an illusion of a happy memory, but after examining his other memories, he becomes intrigued by his memories of Japan. Makoto breaks the illusion and is surprised when Shen offers to make a contract with him to become his familiar. Makoto agrees, and they form the contract. Shen then transforms into a busty samurai girl. Looking forward to what Makoto will do in the future, that Koto discovers Shen is obsessed with his memories of historical dramas and samurai. She teleports Makoto to the alternate dimension, where she normally lives but finds it now resembles Japan's countryside. Makoto goes on to inform the orcs that he defeated Shen. Shen offers for the orcs to live in her dimension, as it is now ideal for farming, and continues watching. Makoto has memories, but demands they figure out how to build a television so she can store his memories. Makoto decides to discover more about his parents, whom Tsukimichi told him were born in this world before moving to Japan. Shen appears with an injured dwarf, explaining their dimension is being attacked by a spider called Black Disaster that is cursed with eternal hunger and consumes everything. Makoto manages to completely obliterate the spider, but collapses as it regenerates. Shen tries to intervene, but the spider suddenly declares that the extreme violence has satisfied its masochistic hunger, and she is determined to stay with Makoto forever. Shen suggests that the spider should also form a contract with Makoto to gain a human form, and she agrees with Shen performing the ritual. Despite Makoto being unconscious, Makoto awakens and finds he has a new similarly busty female servant, who makes him slightly nervous. The dwarf is revealed to be called Baron, an elder dwarf capable of crafting artifacts. Baron also moves his village into Shen's dimension. Shen and the spider request personal names, so Makoto renames Gen Tamo, after Tamo goes in and names the spider Meal while he was unconscious. Makoto discovers Tamo and Mia went recruiting in his village is now populated by orcs, dwarves, mist lizards, and ALK spiders. Makoto returns to the normal world and finds a human village, but they attack him. Chamo explains that Makoto's magical aura is so strong that the humans probably mistook him for a demon lord. Makoto spends months learning the human language and has the dwarves craft items to suppress his aura. Entering the human village posing as merchants, they register at an adventurer's guild. Tamo and Meal break records by being 4 times as powerful as the next strongest adventurer, while Makoto, due to his suppressed aura, ranks level 1, which is weaker than a child. Tamo learns that a dragon she knew called Lancer has been killed by an adventurer called Sophia Boba. Makoto notices the price of commodities is unusually high, and that people have begun following them. Tamo prepares to foil a night attack on their wagon while buying food. Makoto and Meinl are approached by a young girl. The girl called Rin On reveals her sister called Toma has disappeared. Tom will confronts the thieves, but kills 3 by accident and captures the 4th rent, and discovers Ta and Makoto found out from the thief's memories that their group is holding her captive, and sends Bo and Tamo to save her. Makoto is concerned for Ta because she resembles a girl called a scholar who he knew in Japan. Meo and Tamo locate Ta and her captor called Mel's Ace. The current strongest adventurer Ridden sneaks away and tells the thieves Makoto's wagon was full of expensive fruit, but he has already sold it. The thieves insist she steals Makoto's gold to pay taxes. That's Mills, who is revealed to be the thieves' secret leader. Reveals a demon lord recently approached the city and had a bounty placed on its head, so he wants Bo and Tamo to help hunt it, not realizing the demon lord was actually Makoto Ren, and decided she can't steal from Makoto after he was so nice to her. Mayo and Tamo defeat Mills and his thieves and destroy part of the city, competing to see who defeated the most enemies. Renowned reunites with Toa, who is identical to Hey Scala apart from her hair color. Makoto praises Mio and Tama for rescuing Toho, but then violently blasts them back to the wasteland to repent for foolishly destroying the entire human city. Tama alters everyone's memory, so the world believes a monster horde destroys it too. Yeah, as soon as Guild was destroyed, Makoto must re-register inside the next closest town. Makoto tricks Tama into training alone in the wilderness. While he travels to sides with other adventurers, Mio and Makoto kill many monsters, which total harvests for valuable parts, including rare ruby, ants pre-registering inside. Makoto celebrates with the other adventurers, Louis of the Elven Archer, Hazel the human alchemist, and Ran another dwarf priest's knight. Makoto decides to sell the ruby eyes to the Rembrandt Trading Company, but is warned by Total that Rembrandt has a bad reputation. Returning to his village, Emma reports on their progress. The elk are settling in the mountains. The dwarves have begun constructing buildings and the mist's lizards clear the farmland, while the orcs have begun constructing Makoto a castle. Makoto begins to worry as Tamo has been gone a long time. Makoto discovers that magical ingredients grown in the demiplane are more potent than normal. Makoto takes the ruby either in Breton, finds the manager is quite difficult to deal with. The manager, called Patrick Rembrandt, is dismissive until he sees the ruby eyes and apologizes. He happily reveals that the eyes make ambrosia a cure for his wife and daughters who have been cursed by a witch. Makoto goes to register as a merchant and passes the written exam easily as it is basic middle school mathematics. The second test is to gather for dangerous items, but he takes advantage of a rule saying he can substitute items of equal value, and substitutes the ruby ants. Makoto returns to the demiplane, where he plans to set up a hidden portal to trick traveling merchants into thinking the demiplane is a hidden city in which they can trade for demiplane items and return home, creating a demand for demiplane products. Locating Tamo with Meal, Makoto realizes Meal has become addicted to his memories of anime and children's cartoons. Tamo and Bo are confused when Makoto chooses to sleep alone, rather than pick one of them to make love, so they decide that they must come up with a seduction plan. Hazel agrees to Makoto's request to help brew the ambrosia. An adventurer watches Makoto and decides to gather as many adventures as he can to stop whatever Patrick is doing with Makoto. Patrick secretly has the witch doctor who cursed his family killed. Meanwhile, Hazel brews the ambrosia. Makoto was able to restrain Patrick's wife, called Lisa, who has become a monster, and in turn, Patrick successfully administers the ambrosia. Using this method, they also cure Patrick's daughters. Makoto returns to Tama one meal, but they are attacked by the adventurer called Lime Latte and his numerous allies. After defeating all 200 enemies, Lime claims he only wanted a sleeping curse put on Lisa and her daughters is revenge for Patrick preventing adventurers who displeased him from finding further work, many of whom later died on quests too dangerous for them to handle, and has no idea why the witch doctor actually cursed them into monsters. Liv apologizes to Patrick, who decides to let him live, and Lime retires from adventuring Tamo, who had seen in Lime's memories that he sends his wages to the orphanage, where he grew up, gives him a katana forced by the dwarves, and hires him to spy for her. Meanwhile, despite his gratitude to Makoto, Patrick considers what to do about Makoto starting a competing trading company. Returning to the demiplane, Emma informs Makoto that yet another problem has arisen. The warriors and Makoto village are depressed after training, and Makoto learns it is his fault as during training, he completely overwhelms them to the point they lose their self-confidence. He also realizes the various species don't train with each other, so he arranges weekly competitions, inspiring them to strengthen themselves and each other. Makoto, Meal, and Tamo re-register as adventurers, and are immediately asked to train an adventurer to replace Lime Latte. Makoto chooses Toa and asks Tama to train her, though Tama was troubled as she knows Tor resembles the girl from Japan, and worries Makoto misses his former life. Tom will put To and her team through a brutal training regime, and then test their new abilities by ordering them to defeat a nest of 108 monsters, proving them the strongest adventuring team. Makoto decides to collect ambrosia flowers, the flowers eaten by the ruby ants that make their eyes valuable. He also decides to rent shop space from Patrick, who realizes Makoto wants to rent as buying would bring him to the attention of the outside kingdom, who would ask him to spy on Patrick, which Makoto does not want to do. Patrick agrees to arrange a shop space for Makoto in a neutral city not allied to any kingdom. The village throws a party to celebrate Makoto opening his trading company. The claim reveals they have located ambrosia flowers in the outside world, but decided not to harvest any as they are protected by elves. Mio and Tamo since Makoto dying repeatedly during archery training. Tamo instructs Makoto to clear his mind and to focus on the target, but he unintentionally merges with the environment and dies for a split second, which feels to Tamo and Meal like he has committed suicide. This has caused his mana to increase to god level. If it continues, the goddess who banished him to the wasteland will see him as a rival and try to kill him. Makoto returns to the human world and is approached by an adult worker, so he is dragged away by the furious Meal and Tamo. They declare they are tired of waiting for him to grow up and will make love with him immediately. Makoto panics and flees through a portal, the doors for his more powerful modern suppressing equipment. Neo apologizes for her and Toma's behavior, so Makoto invites her to help negotiate with the other adventurer is also appear to steal the flower, one of whom is the adult worker. Ian causes the elves to attack immediately. Makoto teleports the adventurers to the demi-plane, and then makes peace with the elves called Aqua and Eris. Makoto meets a man called Milda Story and other elders. Milda Story's son called the Dono is angry the barrier protecting the forest is weakening. Makoto meets Aqua and Eris's master called Mondo. A powerful warrior. Meal suspects Mando is possessed and overhears a telepathic conversation between a dodo and an unknown person about demons. Later, a spirit frees itself from Mundo's body and drains the life from a dono, killing him for associating with demons. The Lich explains he accidentally became a Lich while trying to become a Grant, which is a human that can freely travel between alternate worlds like a god. Tamo reveals he has it the wrong way around. Grants aren't humans who could travel, they are normal humans who accidentally traveled to alternate worlds, and so earn the title of Grant, realizing he has wasted his entire life on an impossible goal. The Lich happily accepts Tamo's suggestion of forming a contract with Makoto and teaching him about magic. The adventure is designed to escape the dummy plane. Forming a contract returns the Lich from a skeleton to a young and attractive man. A magical explosion occurs in the village, causing Tamo to collapse. Makoto and Lich are able to heal the injured neck. Ono realizes the force of the explosion and opened the portal to the outside world. Examining the memory fragments of the adult worker, Makoto sees that she and her comrades attempted to steal magical items, and when guards intervened, one of the rings full of Makoto magic exploded, killing Thomas' child fragment and an orc. Makoto follows and coldly kills the adult worker in revenge. After the funerals, Makoto learns from Lich, now named Shiki, he was able to see the adult worker's memories. Because memory viewing is one of Thomas' powers, a sign they trust each other implicitly, though this makes me jealous. Makoto orders walls to be constructed so that any adventurers who visit the demi-plane to trade are kept separate from the village itself. Makoto visits Patrick, who has arranged Makoto's shop space in the neutral town of Rod's Guard Academy. Makoto hopes to visit the academy to learn more about the world, the goddess, and humans. As he may be gone a considerable time, he takes only Shiki with him and gives Meo and Thomas some more memories as gifts. As they prepare to teleport, the goddess suddenly locates Makoto and tampers with his teleportation, sending him to a distant battlefield where two demon warriors attack him and sever two of his fingers. The two are revealed to be Sophia Bolger and Mitsubishi, the strongest adventurer in the world, and the superior dragons he became famous for supposedly killing. They explain they have joined the demon army to destroy humanity. Makoto removes all of his mana-suppressing equipment, overwhelming Mitzvah Review with his magic and shattering Sophia's legendary sword. Makoto manages to teleport away, leaving Mitzvah Ruby and Sophia alive, who swears revenge. Patrick receives word of the army's destruction by a powerful mage, but doesn't realize it was Makoto. Chiki believes the goddess used Makoto to destroy the army and may be watching them. Tamo reveals she created another fragment named Camo using Makoto mana from a discarded ring, and Mayo is furious. When Camo calls Makoto Papa, Makoto finally opens a shop, which is an instant success, and learns after he teleported away. The demon and human armies did massive damage to each other, and that to other goddesses summon heroes to take part in the battle. The village throws a feast to celebrate Makoto's shop, and he decides his future looks bright, but the feast is interrupted by another fight between Meo and Tomo, causing Makoto to change his mind, realizing that his immediate future is quite frustrated. This anime ends here. If you liked the video, please like, subscribe, hit the notification button so you won't miss our latest videos, and let us know what you think of the anime in the comment below.
How was the video? We hope it was good. If so, please check these videos. Also, please comment down your thoughts and your suggestions for future videos. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing now to show the support to our channel. We hope to see you soon with another video right in this channel. Have a nice day.